Welcome and welcome back to the In My Father's House podcast. I'm your host, Reah Stevenson, with my co-host,
Ruel Stevenson.
and welcome to episode 6. For the past 2 episodes, we have been talking about relationships, beginning with courting versus dating, beginning with finding your person, onto being with that person, and marriage, and the roles in marriage, supporting your family. And honestly, this episode, I won't even consider it a part 3 of that, because this part should never happen in a marriage at all. But unfortunately, in some marriages, it happens. And today we're going to talk about it. So with that being said, as you can see in the title, we're talking about the D word. What is the D word?
What is the D word?
What is the D word?
Oh my gosh, the D word. Okay.
Death? I don't think that's
Disclaimer?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, what is the derogatory?
No.
No.
Today's D word is the dreaded D word in any single relationship you could ever think of.
Wait. Don't say it yet. Don't say it. Oh my god. Okay, good.
Divorce. And the reason why I felt inclined to talk about it is because, like we hinted at in the previous episode, it's
Never.
pretty much what
Never should happen.
we have in our dynamic, what makes up the way our relationship, well, not our relationship, but our family, and that separates our family from like the traditional family. So I wanted to go more into it, give advice for other kids who are going through it. And you could give advice to, well, can't really give advice to the wives, but you could give advice to the husbands, how you went through it, how you're going through it, how you process it, how you heal from it. So you want to start, or I want to start?
I think you want to start. Okay. Well, I guess you should start that.
I guess I'll start. I won't even consider this part 3 of our relationship series, because this is something that, like, even in the Bible, it should never happen. Mm-hmm. But I do know that in our world today, it does happen. Mm-hmm. It's a common thing, honestly.
Oh,
the percentage
it's more common than marriage.
Yeah, the percentage of divorce is risen. You could see it. And so it's like, even though it isn't something that should happen, of course it is happening, and it'll only be right that we talk about it because it's something that we have experienced. Mm-hmm. And we have advice. I know you have advice of how you went through it. I have advice of how, I process it. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
Got you. So let me ask a question, right? Mm-hmm. What would you say to a child or a young girl or a young boy who parents got separated, mm-hmm. and they're wondering, where's my daddy, where's my mommy? Yeah. And sometimes, the father might be in the picture of them or not. Yeah. The mother might not be in the picture or not. So what advice would you say to them? Like, what would you say? Like, Reah, I'm hurting right now. Mm-hmm. I want my mom and daddy together. Right?
Growing up, for me, talking to this person, it depends on maturity levels and understanding levels. Because growing up, I was like that. Mm-hmm. You even know I was like that. At school, there would be moments where I just randomly break down crying for whatever reason. But it's because, like, I'd be like, I want my mom or I want my dad. And the thing that kind of makes me different from, like, other divorced families is that, like, you hear a lot commonly that it's like, the kid grew up together, and then when they're older, that's when something happens. But I guess for me, in a sense, I'm kind of like fortunate, even though it's not really a fortunate thing. But for me, it's like it happened so early when I was younger that I grew up and I didn't understand anything different. So it wasn't like a part where it's like I grew up same thing and then it got ripped from me. It was something that I always grew up with and I understood from a young age. And so when I was younger, I didn't cry because, like, I'd had it and then it was gone. I cried because I saw what I could have had, and that hurt a lot. But then at the same time, it's like, growing up, I come to understand from, like, talking to you or talking to mom, that is like, it's just what happens. And it's like, there's no reversing or rewinding time. So it's honestly just a growing process, and something that once you make that kind of like understanding that, like, okay, instead of crying about what could have been, why don't we make this into something better? Advice I would give to them would just be, instead of focusing on what could be, what could have been, understand that like at the end of the day, your parents are not going to make a decision to hurt you. It's more of a thing that just, whatever the situation may be, it just happens. And instead of focusing on the negative, try to like look forward to the positive that may come out of it. Because we have had a lot of positive moments. There have been times we've gone out together. So we're still a family. We're just different. So with that being said, I'm gonna reverse the question onto you now. Mm-hmm. And what have, basically speaking on your journey from it, and advice you would give to like a husband or maybe even a wife who's maybe going through it now.
I got married because I had a daughter, and I decided that I was going to marry for my daughter. Mm-hmm. No, your mom was a good woman, right? She is a good woman. It's just that we weren't meant to be with each other. And eventually, me and mom, I was the one that actually wanted divorce first. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day I went to church, and this evangelist, his name was Brother Lemon. He was speaking, and I decided I'm gonna pull him aside and talk with him and stuff. And so I was young, I didn't really know who to speak to. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, man, I'm really contemplating just divorcing because it's like I'm going home to a dead house. And he spoke with me. He's like, listen, right now there's a line. Imagine a line being drawn. You're over on this side of the bank right now. This is where you are. You're married. Here we are. Whatever. But over here is what God don't like. God said, I hate divorce. And what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. You want to obey you? You want to serve you? Or you want to obey God? To be honest with you, that night, I said, I'm going to obey God. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, fine. I'm not going to go after divorce anymore. That spirit that was attacking me was now in your mom. Mm. And that spirit was like, divorce. And press. And she went and got the papers. Mm-hmm. It took me, I lost 5 years of my life, 5+ years of my life. I didn't know I was going into depression, but I went into depression. Lost my hair again, completely lose my hair. And, it's been very hard. So much so, for a man is like, you self-medicate. Mm. I'm not a drug, I don't use recreational drugs. I don't use alcohol. I don't use marijuana. I don't use them kind of things. But I still medicated myself, right? I got hooked on every man's weakness. Mm. Every man share the same weakness. If you're a man, you're a man's man. Share the same weakness. Mm. And, the Lord had to really, truly take hold of me. Because I didn't know how far down I was actually until God said enough. Mm-hmm. I said, it's time for you to start getting up now. And I saw doors opening up for me and everything. But it's a very hard thing. Yeah. One of the most beautiful things that I've seen is like, when I used to walk through the airport, I see these old couples. How long you been married? 60 years. What? Seriously? Hey, pushing them together, like, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah. But I went through divorce. I went through depression, man, and I can't exactly state how bad it was now, but it was really bad. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have been here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now that you've talked about your journey and how your 5-year depression, what advice, let's say I'm a woman or a man and I come to you and I'm like, well, I just went through this divorce and it's like, where do I go from here? What do I do? Who am I? What is my life now without my, because that's another, what I've heard is that you feel a sense of despair, especially if you were married for a very long time. Is who am I without this person? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what advice would you give to that person?
The only thing I can tell you, or only thing I can say, man, is get to know God. There've been many nights I've had to talk to him. I've had to cry. I've wet my pillow. Like David said, I wet my pillow with my tears. I can actually say I've been through that. And it's all I could see for years and years and years, like, I have to give up my family. I have to somehow try to woo this woman back, or let her love me, or let her come back to me. And you know, it's funny. I'll tell you this much. When I got married to your mom, I asked her, I said, Lord, that was a Friday. No, it was a Friday. It was a Friday. I said, Lord, help me to love this woman the way you want me to love her. The way I loved your mom, coming out of the divorce, just going into divorce and coming out of that divorce, is the way I should have loved her in the marriage. God answered my prayer. And it was hard. If I could have loved her the way I needed to love her back then, it'd have been a different situation. You know, I was still like, man, I wish I had more children with her and stuff. And so
I mean, a brother or two would have been nice, but
hey, you know, we make beautiful. I make beautiful children actually. I make beautiful children. Toot my own heart. Cause hey, you're beautiful, and of course you have a sister and she's beautiful. Like, hey, I'm 2 for 2. 2 for 2. So, but you know, but I can tell people, look, even though it was like, I remember sometimes it would be crushing. I would just lay down in bed all day, and it's like paralyzed. And I forced myself to get up. And one thing I started really doing is just really trying to get a life, man. It's like just going out, like, and I went back to school actually. And just the fact of going back to school, you meet people, you're being social. I was never a person that go into like clubs and all that stuff. So I'm not into all that. But just do something. Some people they get in the habit of when they're going through depression or whatever, they just do nothing, and they just like home just. And then they said that idle hands is the devil's playground, right? So you don't want to be idle. You want to be connect with family, connect with friends, travel, and you know, you have to find ways to move on.
Yeah.
Especially if that person is like, yo, I'm dead. I'm done. I'm done, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I had to just find ways to just, who's Ruel?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I did not know my identity until I went back into the Word of God. As I started reading the Bible, started studying, truly getting to know God, I started to understand, hey, I'm put here for a purpose. I know there are a lot of men, if you talk to them and stuff, that actually went through divorce or who don't have anything to do with their children, they've been hurt at some point. They've been really hurt. And because like, yo, I'm done. I don't want them to do this, child. Not to say it's right.
Yeah.
But they've been hurt, and it's like, I don't care. I don't care. So, good.
One thing I will say, coming from a child's perspective, a child's perspective in a situation of like divorce and separation, one thing I will say to like parents who are, you know, currently separated or in the process of divorce, it's like, I notice a lot of times the child is kind of like overlooked. Because like you said, it's a selfish thing. So it's like, you have those parents who are like, well, I want this. I want the house. I want the car. But it's like, your child is in the background watching their parents fight, but you're focused on like getting the house or getting the car.
Stupid stuff.
And it's like, main thing that I can say to parents who have kids and who are going through it, don't overlook your kids. Because it's like, that feeling of like, helplessness and hopelessness bears down on you crazy.
You know, I'll say, and I know, to be honest with you, I would tell parents, talk to their children.
Yeah.
You and I, we've had conversations. I remember we used to lay down in my parents' home on a sofa, and you're like 2-3 years old, and you just died, and you'll just sit on there talking to me and stuff and so. And we'll be talking to each other and stuff and so. And we just spend time, you know what I mean? We'll just, everywhere I went, you went. We just spend time talking, and there wasn't anything that I would, I guess, withhold, like, oh, she's too young or whatever. Yeah. It would just be like, we'll just talk about it, right? And I will just give you an honest answer. I think for many years, you asked me like, Dad, how come your mom not together? What happened? Why y'all not together? I was like, you know, that we weren't meant to be together. Yeah. I'll say that for a long time. But you know, as a child grow older and everything, you have to simply, this is what happened. This is what happened, and you just have to just deal with it. You know what I mean? It's better to let the child know versus not know. And like, okay, well, I don't know what happened. just talk. I think if people were to have more conversations in regards to life itself, like stuff that really matters, you know what I mean? People talk about a whole bunch of foolishness that it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's really pathetic. And it's like, we have to learn to be about truly healthy communication. But definitely don't overlook the children.
Yeah. For sure.
I think your mom and I truly both love you very much. Your mom wanted to have a child. I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. But ready or not, you know what I mean? I think what I do know is that one of the best things that have happened to me in my life. There's no toy. I don't understand this, right? How can a grown man have a son or a daughter or a woman, either or, but say they're going to play an Xbox or a PlayStation? Like, I don't get it. It don't talk back. It don't interact. High five, you know what I mean? It don't even do none of that stuff. It can't do a podcast like you and I do. It can't do that. But you're gonna literally spend the time for hours on this stuff, right? Just playing it. Shoot them up. Like, dude, you have no life.
Yeah.
You don't have a personality. You don't have a life. You're corrupt in the mind. And one of the things that I find, like, for me, I didn't care for those things. You literally were my Xbox. If you want to play shoot 'em up, we'll do stuff together, or we play pillow fight. Or man, we did a lot of stuff, man. We just throw you up in the air. Yeah, like, catch me, you know what I mean? Like, go ride a bicycle, man. We just used to just do stuff. And then when we started traveling, we started traveling, man. So it was literally, we did things together.
Yeah.
And I think that truly, I'm not gonna lie to you. Without you in my life, I don't know what would have happened to me. In a sense, you saved my life. I know God saved my life, right?
Yeah.
But in a sense, you literally, because I had something to live for.
Yeah.
Men do hurt.
Yeah.
Men hurt a lot, and men cry. It's like we act tough because society said that we have to act tough.
Yeah.
We act brave. We have to act this way, but sometimes we get so tired that you want to just have somebody there to just literally just rest your head and say it's going to be okay, or hey, it's okay to cry, it's okay to hurt. You have all these divorce because people never take the time out to really vet that person.
Yeah.
And everybody gets hurt. Nobody wins. And the biggest loser is the child. The biggest loser in every divorce is the child. Not the father, not the mother, the child.
Yeah.
Because you just robbed that child of both parents together happily union. You just robbed the child. And now it's like separation, divorce has become the norm. It's the norm.
Yeah.
So we calling good wrong, or evil, and evil good. God, it's evil to have divorce and that kind of stuff. It's evil.
Yeah. And I would say, going back to like the child thing, I can honestly say I'm thankful that I have the parents that I have. I know growing up, it was like a struggle to like at the beginning stages of co-parenting. It was very a struggle for you guys, but I'm thankful that like through it all, we stuck through it. Cause it wasn't like a you and mom thing. It was the three of us. Cause all of us had like a role to play. And I'm thankful that like, for me, I know a lot of it was sacrificing for me. Cause I know there'd be moments where it's like, I want us to go somewhere, but y'all weren't really talking at the time. But because you know what, this isn't for me, this is for Reah. And I appreciated that a lot, cause it's like those memories I will hold on to forever. And even like growing, like when I was younger, I just see it as like, my parents and I hanging out. But like now that I'm older and looking back on it, I can see that it's like there was a lot going on behind the scenes. But because you guys love me so much, you were willing to like sacrifice that. And it's sad to me that like there's kids out there who don't have that. Like they're like, Mom, can we all? And they're like, no, I don't want to talk to them. No. So I'm just very thankful that I have you and Mom who are like willing to like, even though it was like you said, stemmed from selfishness, that selfishness as we like, went on, it kind of like was put away for me. And I appreciate that a lot.
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things, Freddie mentioned that a lot of times I'm like, I think I'm the one that's mostly like always saying, hey, let's do this. Yeah. She needs this. I'm always looking at the future, right? And your mom, I'm always the one that's like, yo, we gotta learn to go to the park and learn to hang out
Yeah.
together and learn to do this together. We don't have to be together, but we just need to spend time with her together. And I'm like, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, we can do it. We never did it. I was like, oh, but there's been a few times where we've literally gone and I think we went to Tennessee one time.
Yeah. My birthday.
It's a birthday? Yeah, for your birthday. But actually, it's more than once. We went to Tennessee one time for your birthday, and then we went to Tennessee again for church.
I remember that.
And we had a picnic out there and stuff.
Yeah,
And so we
that was
came
a lot
back
of
and then,
fun.
yeah, you know what I mean? It was kind of cool, right? And to be honest with you, I don't remember what we talk about, what we listen to or whatever. It's just we just pass the time away. And you know what I mean? Over the years, it's been kind of weird in a sense. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean?
It's a process.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what I mean? It's no one size fit all.
Yeah.
Because both people have to like say, hey, you know what? It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about our child, whether it be son or daughter, and trying to truly raise that child like to the best of their ability. I mean, even when we went to the Omni, remember we went to the Omni Hotel?
Yeah. That was surprising.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, and at the time I think Rena was there, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like, you know, so I'll share. So one time for Rhea's birthday,
I think it was 13th. Yeah.
I don't know, one of the birthdays, right? We went out to downtown Atlanta. I paid for the hotel, and all of us went. So it was Rhea, myself, her mom, and my other daughter. And we all stayed. I mean, we had two beds, of course. Rhea slept with her mom in the same bed, and I slept by myself because I think Rena went
Yeah,
together.
Rena came over. She abandoned ship.
So I'm like, these traders, man. I'm like, but you know what? It was cool though. It was cool. Then we went to the big Ferris wheel and stuff and so. But it was cool.
I think honestly what I remember most about that whole entire experience was when we were up and we got like 2 noise complaints.
Man.
We were
up
playing Uno. We were up playing Uno and we got like 2 noise complaints. And it was like, I remember the first time it was like, sorry. We tried to keep it down.
Yeah.
And then we went back playing. They came back and we were like, all right, shut it down. It's time for bed because we did not want to get kicked out of that place.
Yeah, we wouldn't have got kicked though, but it's just kind of like people were just I don't know.
Yeah.
Too. But you know what I mean? I'll say like, you know, I don't think we've ever taken a trip together. But we've gone to over state line.
Yeah.
But you know, I admire, and there's some families that, you know what I mean, either the man is remarried, the woman is remarried or whatever, and they respect the boundaries, but you know what I mean, they're able to work through their selfishness. And I can applaud. I mean, I never wanted to be in this situation. I never wanted to be a divorcee. And I try to talk to people a lot. Like hey, this is not what you want. You don't want to be a part of this statistic. You know what I mean? You want to be, you gotta let go of whatever is it that you're holding on to, right? And most people, unless somebody's threatening your life, right? It's like it's just a bunch of selfishness. Whether it be for the guy or for the woman, it's a bunch of selfishness, man. And you gotta always go back to, hey, what's in the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that because you have a daughter or a son and you have the mother is not always the best person for the child to stay with. Neither is it the father. But society today give the child to the mother, and I think that's a bunch of foolishness. Because not all mothers think the same.
Yeah.
Not all mothers behave the same. Not all mothers are mothers. Some are very selfish. And I can look back and I can tell you definitely, you know what I mean, when it comes to your mom and you, I have had the best mother ever when it comes to you. Because she could have been like one of those dirty, nasty people. You know what I mean? Very
Yeah. We get it.
Yeah. It'd be like nasty people, like, oh my gosh. It could be like one of those.
Yeah.
But she was very pleasant, right? I mean, not to me, but to my parents. But I still got to see you all the time. There's not even one time your mom ever said, no, you can't get your daughter.
Yeah.
It don't matter if it's in the middle of the night, middle of the week, or middle of it don't matter when. If I say, yo, I want my daughter to come over here this weekend, or I want, okay. And to be honest with you, sometimes she probably cussing me in her head and all that stuff. That's all right. But the thing is, she's never. I mean, we've had our little spots here and there.
Yeah.
But it's never where I've disrespected her, she disrespected me or whatever. We just have different views and we'll talk about stuff sometimes. But for the most part, we've had to mature up.
Yeah.
Like I've had to grow up. Like Ruel just grew up, grow some big boy underwear, and she had to put on some big woman underwear and just like, tough it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think, well, I know. I mean, sometimes I tell her like, hey, I really am pleased. I'm really glad.
Yeah.
I just wish that I had all my children with her, and that's for me. That's for me. But I mean, no. These days, people are like, they can't stand each other. I can understand.
Yeah.
Right? Either the man want to be with the woman, or the woman. I've spoke to a young lady. She's trying to run out the state. Why? Because her son's father is trying to probably. He's very sadistic. He wants to kill her. I was like, hey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy. That's really crazy. But then you have some men who wants to take care of the children, right? And the mother's making things very hard or difficult.
Yeah.
And something has to be done. But life after divorce, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. People don't really talk much about it.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I was one of those people that actually like, I'm not afraid to tell you I cry. So I bawl. I bawled. And you know what I mean? It didn't make me less of a man.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? It's not more so, it's like, I think more so like the fact that you weren't there 100% of the time. Like, I never left your side. We talked about that in the beginning. Like,
yeah, we did.
No, I never left your side. And now I'm being forced to leave your side. And that was like somebody ripping out my heart. So it mends every week, rips again.
Yeah.
Mends every week, rips again. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I will say, like, through it all, it has been a process. And I think going through everything that we've all been through, I think it shaped every single one of us. Like, I don't know who I would have been if I had both, but I know who I am now. And like watching you and mom, in a sense, just prevail on forward, it kind of like, just watching that strength and that like determination to where it's like, at the end of the day, what's best for my family is my focus, whether it be like, like you said, if it's something where it's like, you got to take a step back and whatever's best, it happens. And I take that, what do you say? Not that trait, but just that sense of like strength and that I saw in both of you going through it. And it's always something that's always stuck with me. And I think it always will. It's a process that like, we don't wish it. Nobody wishes for divorce. But in our situation, it's something that happened. And like, I'm not afraid to talk about it. Like, I know there's, and I would say the reason why I'm not afraid to talk about it and I honestly want to talk about it is because I've healed from it. It's been a process, like I said, from being younger. It's been a process, but I definitely healed from it. And I want to talk about it because I know there's kids out there who are like going through it and they need advice, because I remember that sense of like helplessness where it's like, there's nothing I can do to fix it. And so I know that there's other people who are feeling that. And so reaching the point that I have reached, I want to help people, go through. What?
No, it wasn't you. I'm sorry.
What?
Sorry. No. Seriously. Nothing.
Anyways.
No, you're right.
Yes. Yeah, divorce has never been like a topic I've been afraid of. Like, even when we were in the beginning. What?
No, I'm listening. I'm just listening. I'm listening.
I just want to, help people who've gone through it, especially with me having experience and going through it, just want to help. And honestly, I think that's actually kind of like what fuels my desire to practice law. Because I notice, especially in like family law, it's like, the parent retains them and they on that side, the lawyer's on that side for the parent. Another parent retains another lawyer and the lawyer's on them. But it's like, who speaks for the child? Who talks for what the child wants is like, That's why I say don't overlook your kids, because it's like they're going through it maybe even more than you're going through it.
They are, because again, they're missing daddy, or they're missing mommy.
That's why I want to be that lawyer who speaks for that child, because it's like, yeah, you retained me, but I'm not just here to speak for you alone. I'm here to do what's best and just try to, as amicable as possible, make it best that where it's like basically a child advocate in a sense, because like I understand that feeling, like I said earlier, of that helplessness, and I want to be that lawyer who is like, okay, you want this, but let's go over to what the child now, because like, you know, I know there's I forgot what it's called. It's not negotiations. It's not negotiation. It's where the
Mediation.
Mediation. It's like you say what you want. Mother say what she wants. Father say what he wants. But it's like who's talking for that child? Who's saying like, okay, how are we gonna work this in a way where everybody's happy? And I want to be that person who can
focus on everybody winning.
Exactly, not just because you're paying me, I'm gonna focus on you, because it's not. It's supposed to be equal, and I want it to be equal. Yeah.
Definitely. And you know, that's something that's very commendable, and I really admire that about you. You know what I mean? You're taking the things that you went through, and then you're like, hey, you know what? I want to know, provide a service for people that might potentially go through the same thing I've been through, or the people that's going through it, or hey, let's focus here. That's why we have this conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's deep topic. What's it?
Casual
conversation with deep topics. Right? And definitely, you know, I mean, I think most people never really sit down and think about this stuff. Like, who thinks about a child?
Yeah.
I would want to hear what you guys think, right? Take the time out, weigh in on this topic itself. Some of you guys have been divorced. Some of you guys are contemplating divorce. Some of you guys have felt the pain and the sting of divorce itself. What do you guys think? What is your thoughts? We want to hear from you. Leave a comment.
With that being said, this is episode 6. I think this is like one of like the deepest I think we've got so far.
Yeah.
And so like that was saying, just leave your thoughts, your comments. If you're like a parent who has been through, or even just, you know, somebody who has been through divorce, leave your advice for somebody who is going through it as well. And again, like we say always, if there's any questions that you have, if it's like a anonymous question or something that you kept private, our business email is in the description down below, so feel free to email us there. Of course, we won't expose you or whatever, we will keep it private. And if you have something that you want to share publicly to, you know, help somebody else, feel free to comment it down below. But with that being said, that is our podcast for today, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.